This is CBC Here and Now.
The weather conditions, as I say, were abating, so we were satisfied that going into those descending forecasts, that we could actually use our procedures and go through our standard startup procedure.
Tonight, Husky Energy investigates what went wrong Friday.
What led to the oil spill offshore? Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Debbie Cooper.
And I'm Anthony Germain.
Husky Energy is still searching for answers about what caused the largest spill in this province's history on Friday.
Now, the company knows an underwater valve released about 250,000 litres of oil, but why it happened? Well, that's still a mystery.
Here Now's Carolyn Stokes is standing by live with more. So Carolyn, Husky was answering questions today, but it sounds like they still have questions of their own.
Yeah, they certainly do. The biggest question is what caused that valve to fail? And to answer that, they need to bring it up from the ocean floor. Today, Husky's senior VP for the Atlantic region walked us through what happened.
Production was shut down on Thursday as 30-meter waves battered the vessel.
As the storm arrives, we go through our procedures to batten down the hatches, get tight, get everybody to the accommodation.
By 6 a.m. Friday, the weather started to ease to 8-meter waves, so the Sea Rose began the restart process, flushing the system to warm up the flow lines.
It's a bit like running up your car. It's nice to get it a little bit warmer and it'll run a little bit better.
Then an unexplained drop in pressure and a scramble to find the cause. During that 25-minute period, the valve released a batch of oil, an estimated 250,000 litres. The sheen was quickly visible on the water surface.
My biggest question is why would such a device let go at such a low pressure?
This is the second serious incident involving the Sea Rose in less than a year. In March, an iceberg moved dangerously close to the rig. Husky kept on pumping oil despite the rules to stop.
If I reflect back on the incident with the iceberg, we could have and done better with that iceberg incident. We did not follow the procedures.
But he says this time was different. They followed procedure.
So far, I've seen that the team prior to the storm and post the storm went through all of the natural course of procedures, and you know, we'll only learn from this event here. Is there something else that we can do to prevent this happening again? I appreciate this is a terrible spill, and I don't want to have this again here again on the Grand Banks.
Now, Pritchard says one of the questions they will ask is, do those procedures need to change? Also, Husky still doesn't know if this spill was connected to the storm. All of that will be part of Husky's internal investigation, which must be submitted within 21 days. Anthony?
Thanks, Carolyn. Carolyn Stokes live in our Here and Now studio. Now, it's often difficult to separate oil and politics. Provincial politicians spent the day debating this oil spill. Here and Now's Katie Breen joins us now with that angle of the story. So, Katie, what were the politicians focused on today?
Well, they wanted to know about the CNLOPB and its role in starting and stopping production. Offshore operators or companies have environmental and safety guidelines. They're supposed to go by those procedures and shut themselves down accordingly, but the idea was raised today that maybe the CNLOPB should do that. Maybe the regulators should make the decision on when companies can pump, so it won't be profit-driven. Here's what Natural Resources Minister Siobhan Coady had to say about that.
The operators do have to have some responsibility here. It's very, very important for safety and environmental protection that they also have responsibility here. So we don't want to release them of that responsibility. So we have to be careful what we're asking for. We are looking at what's happening globally in this regard.
Now, the minister said the investigation that's ongoing is going to look into this process on who decides when it's safe to drill.
Okay, Kate, let's talk a bit about the cleanup now. What is Ms. Coady saying about that?
Well, there's currently no cleanup happening, and Coady says that's because...
All right, unfortunately, we seem to have lost. So let's go back to the newsroom now with Katie Breen. Katie?
Hi. From the top. I guess the minister said the investigation into this was going to cover that process on who determines when it's safe to drill.
Let's find out the extent of how far they are monitoring, and I'll get you that answer for you, because really it's not something that has been brought to my attention at this point. I haven't asked how far, what's the distance that they go, but we'll check that out and get that back for you, okay?
As you heard there, Cody says she's going to look into the search area details. She said she'd also look into the province's responsibility if this oil is found in international waters. Reporting live from the newsroom, I'm Katie Breen for Here and Now.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say a couple of difficulties there. Apologies for that, but I think Katie managed to get you just about everything that happened at the House of Assembly. I was there with her today, so Katie, you managed to soldier through despite some problems there. Let's move on to the weather.
Okay, and yesterday so cold. Today so much warmer, not wet, but it was quite a temperature difference.
Yeah, for eastern Newfoundland and parts of the Avalon, definitely seeing these warmer temperatures. Now we are in for a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch over the next couple of days. I know it's just it's very busy weather-wise as we head towards the weekend. And the next system that's moving in is already prompting some warnings. So if you take a look at those across most of them are for Labrador though, and then parts of the northern peninsula as well. Snowfall warning in place. Could see between 15 to 20 centimeters starting tonight, and then through the day tomorrow. That's going to move into Labrador as well, where we've got some winter storm warnings for Happy Valley, Goose Bay, right through to the coast. Up to Rigla and Hopedale, that's a blowing snow advisory. Not quite as much snow expected, but with those winds picking up, we are looking at reduced visibilities over the next 24 hours. But I'll have all the forecast details coming up in a little bit.
A hair salon in Corner Brook is recycling everything from the hair on the ground to all the leftover hair dye, and it's keeping it out of any dumpsters around town.
I rarely bring the garbage out because there's nothing to bring.
I'll explain what's going on.
About 120 non-unionized workers at Muskrat Falls are going to be waiting a little longer for some of their pay. Those are mostly managers, and they haven't been paid since Astaldi stopped working at the site. Astaldi Canada recently got a court injunction freezing the assets, the bonds and securities that the government had intended to use to pay the managers, and so far the province's attempt to unfreeze them have been unsuccessful. Premier Dwight Ball addressed this issue in the House of Assembly today.
Within recent days, there was a court injunction that was put in place by Astaldi. So this has really prevented the flow of money that would have happened yesterday as Nalcor filed to have this appeal of this court injunction overturned. That did not happen. So my understanding now, as early as next Tuesday, there will be an arbitration that would allow for some of the transfer of these funds.
We now know how much one of the top managers on the Muskrat Falls project was being paid daily. The information was revealed today at the public inquiry into cost overruns and schedule delays. Project Director Paul Harrington fought hard to keep the information from the public, but Commissioner Richard LeBlanc ruled the information is relevant to the inquiry. Here now's Mark Quinn reports.
Before the project was sanctioned, top manager Paul Harrington was paid almost $1,700 per day. That's $209 per hour, or more than $450,000 per year. Information Harrington fought hard to keep private. Last week, Harrington's lawyer was here making an application to prevent his pay details from going public. And today, Deborah Hutchings made his case at the inquiry.
It's going to compromise his competitiveness in the marketplace for future contract and consulting work.
But the inquiry's commissioner disagreed, and he ruled against Harrington.
I'm being advised by Commission Counsel that this is information that I may well need ultimately at the end of the day to make a decision. And in the circumstances, as a result of that, and having considered what the argument is here with regards to relevancy, I do believe that it is relevant.
Harrington is an independent contractor hired to work on the project. He's still the project's director. His contract with Nalcor shows his pay steadily increased from 2007 to 2011. Right now, the inquiry is looking at what happened before the project was sanctioned in 2012. So almost 6 years later, we still don't know exactly what Harrington is being paid per day right now. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
A St. John's man who's facing a slew of charges in relation to a local rental scam was convicted of fraud in an unrelated matter this morning. Raymond Trudell took about $600 from a woman last year to buy and plant trees on her property. But Judge Mike Madden says those trees were never delivered. Trudell will be back in court next month to face 50 other charges. He's accused of defrauding 9 people, some on multiple occasions. Trudell is also charged with forgery and making false documents, including rent receipts, damage deposits, and rental agreements.
The largest hair salon in Corner Brook produces very little garbage. Staff are recycling everything from mounds of chopped off hair to leftover hair dye. The popular shop only puts out, get this, 1 bag of garbage per week. Here Now's Colleen Connors explains just how they do this.
Mixing up that color. Chatter's hairstylists go through hundreds of containers of this stuff. But now, instead of washing the leftovers down the drain, they squeeze the goop into a plastic bucket and recycle it. Hair dye is just one of the things that's reused.
Hair dyes, we have wax strips, waxing sticks, we have all of our plastics, all of the foil that you might use for lightning.
All of this foil and hair will eventually be sent to Green Circle, a company that recycles salon waste.
Staff here at the salon pack up 2 or 3 boxes like this every couple of days of all the waste and ship it off to the Green Circle.
These are bags of like chemicals that you're putting in your hair. It's like bleach and, as you said, acetone, stuff like that. Like anybody knows that that shouldn't be in our environment. So it really does make a difference, especially on collection days when we see all of those boxes being taken out and not going into the dump.
Green Circle accepts salon waste from all Chatter's locations across Canada and uses the hair to clean up things like large oil spills. The company properly disposes of chemicals and reuses paper and foil. Chatter's Corner Brook started recycling 8 months ago, and staff really noticed the difference.
It's really mind-blowing because I started here when the Green Circle had already been started, right? So I just kind of think like, how many bags of garbage would I have been bringing out? How many times would the dumpster need to be cleared? Things like that, but we don't have issues with that. Like I rarely bring the garbage out because there's nothing to bring.
Wells says the store is recycling 95% of its materials, even though Corner Brook businesses are not required to recycle paper and plastic curbside just yet. That comes in 2019. For now, staff here charge customers a $2 environmental fee to help with the high shipping costs. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Corner Brook.
It was a fond farewell for the Northern Ranger in Nain last night.
The Moravian Church Brass Band serenaded the ship's crew and passengers last night, and it is the last time that anyone from Nain will travel on the Ranger, which has been serving Northern Labrador since 1986.
The vessel will do a few more freight runs before the ice sets in. A brand new ferry will launch next spring.
to change that weather that you just saw to Ashley Brawweiler's Wild Kingdom as we take a look at a few. You always get interesting stuff.
I know. I love when people send me this great footage. Take a look at what we have for you today. This is a great horned owl.
Isn't that spectacular?
It's gorgeous, that photo, but the video is what's more impressive. The crow and owl not having a good time.
There's two crows.
There's a partner on the ground. Interesting, isn't it? The great horned owl. It's quite a fierce.
Yeah, it's quite the bird of prey. I think those crows are going to find out why they call it a murder of crows if they don't take it easy. The talons of a great horned owl are legendarily sharp. They can rip things to pieces in no time. So I think the crows trying to get it up. Crows are very territorial,
smart,
right?
And smart.
Yeah, I looked this up on the internet and I Googled it. And it says, what did I write there? That ravens and crows are extremely intelligent and owls are only slightly smarter than rocks. They look magnificent. They're great hunters, but there you go. The crows went out up here.
Yeah, so Jim Dooley sent us that video from his front yard in Lethbridge.
Okay,
so
great.
Great scene there, yeah. But if we take a look at the temperatures that we've been seeing today, as you mentioned earlier, it was very warm across at least parts of the Avalon and the eastern, or rather the Avalon and eastern Newfoundland, temperatures in the single digits today. Up through Labrador, that's not the case. It was cold but clear for most of the day today, minus 25 right now in Labrador City, and those temperatures will continue at least for western portions over the next little bit as we tap into some colder air. So I mentioned a 1, 2, 3, 4 punch over the next week or so as far as weather goes. Now this next system will move in as we head through the overnight tonight, and we need to pay attention to this rain snow line because that's going to determine who sees the most snow and who sees the most rain as we head through the next 24 hours as this system continues to track north and west into the morning hours. Now we could see some freezing drizzle tonight along that line, but right now it looks like Port aux Basques up through the Bay Verte Peninsula will see that change over to rain through the day, with rain towards the Avalon into the afternoon and morning hours, and then we'll see some clearing skies with that system as well. And then snow for the most part essentially from Corner Brook all the way through up to the Northern Peninsula, and then pushing into Labrador into the morning hours, and that's why we're seeing those winter storm warnings for Labrador, and even into those snowfall warnings for the Northern Peninsula into the day tomorrow, along with those blowing snow advisories up through to Hopedale. So those winds are going to pick up with this system as well. But for tonight, we are going to see those temperatures slowly rising to about 0 degrees through Corner Brook. Some windy conditions down in the Rec House area, gusts upwards of about 8 kilometers per hour through the night tonight. 5 to 10 millimeters along the south coast, and then the chance of showers or drizzle for parts of the Avalon. Otherwise, it looks like about 2 centimeters is on the way through central Newfoundland, and then that snow is going to move in by morning for Labrador, but not before about minus 18 for Happy Valley Goose Bay. Clearing skies, snow moving in, as I mentioned, through morning, but then cold again through Lab City, minus 25. That wind chill feeling closer to minus 30 through the night tonight. So another cold one expected. Now into tomorrow, that's where we're going to see everything change over. Now that rain snow line, as I mentioned, likely going to be west of Grand Falls, Windsor. So temperatures sitting in the single digits, mid-single digits for the most part, right down through the Avalon, St. John's, 8 degrees. We will see some clearing skies in the afternoon and evening hours, but a significant snowfall event along the west coast. Corner Brook could pick up between 15 and 20 centimeters. That's the case up through St. Anthony as well. Why is there no snowfall warning? It's because it's going to happen over a longer period of time. And then we'll see that up through Cartwright as well into the afternoon. Nain looking at flurries tomorrow, again with those winds picking up, gusting upwards of about 60, maybe even 70 kilometers per hour. We'll see blowing snow through the afternoon, and then another round of snow moving in on Friday for parts of the west coast. But I'll have all those details coming up when I come back.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, there's reaction tonight to a story the St. John's Morning Show revealed earlier today. Women who have had stillborn babies are speaking out about the healthcare system. They say after they delivered their stillborn babies, they were kept on the same floor as other moms and newborns, and they say were discharged with little emotional support. Tonight, the province's health minister is weighing in.
I don't know what was worse, the empty silence that we had because our baby wasn't with us, or the mere thought of just hearing a baby that wasn't mine. I was the last room before the baby ward. Why? Why was I there? You know, who didn't understand what I just went through? Who made the decision to put me on this 5th floor with mothers and family members who were happy? I wasn't happy. I was in the most crucial state of my life. I've never been in such a way before.
It's an awful situation. To be in the situation of losing a baby, I mean, I have no way of processing that. The easy way, in a sense, is to simply try and separate the woman in that situation from the emotional overload of being on an active delivery unit. And as far as is safe for that to happen, my understanding now is the RHAs are committed to working towards that.
Labrador is marking 100 years since the Spanish flu arrived on its shores. Now, yesterday, you might recall, we showed you the beginning of a ceremony to remember that tragic event. Well, tonight, a survivor's story. Of the 263 people who lived in Oaxaca at the time, only 59 of those people actually made it out alive. Rosina Pomick Ford was one of those people, and last night, a large group of her relatives honored her memory, as well as the memory of those who perished.
My right hand is beadwork done by my great-grandmother, Tabia Pomick, who was a victim of the Spanish flu in 1918.
And in your other hand?
Is a picture of my great-grandmother, Tabia, and her siblings and her parents. I lived with my grandmother, Ford, who was a survivor of the Spanish flu. She was a child, about 9 or 10 years old when the Spanish flu happened, and she came to Nain. And I lived with her for a part of the year during my childhood. So I heard a lot of her stories firsthand, realized the pain she went through and the strength that it gave her from this incident that happened with the sickness in Oaxaca. I did hold her picture during the hymn, and we got pictures of her descendants, because there's a lot of us around the Lake Melville area, a lot in Nain, all over the place.
She was only 10 years old at the time. I can remember her telling me that the deaths were also very, very sudden. She went to check on her mother, and her mother was dead in the bed. But her little brother was still nursing. He was only, I think, 11 months old at the time. So she ended up being the caregiver for him. She survived so much, and she always had a wonderful attitude. It never killed her spirit. Although it killed a lot of people, it never killed her spirit.
To have this ceremony tonight, it was to honor them and to honor the descendants of them. It was something that is needed and was needed. It felt pride tonight. I felt pride to be a descendant of Oaxaca.
You could see the pride there.
Absolutely.
What a devastating illness that swept through that community.
Yeah, and not just Labrador. I'm glad actually that Jacob was actually able to do that, because we've been talking so much about the end of the First World War, and people often forget that between 1918 and 1920, somewhere between 20 and 50 million people around the world died. It's estimated that 1/5 the population of the Earth was infected, a tremendous loss of life, and obviously hit Labrador very hard.
You know, we're going to have to investigate as to why, at such a low pressure, this particular device, the connector to the flow line connected to the manifold, came apart as it did.
Husky investigates what went wrong offshore on Friday, which led to a spill of 250,000 liters of oil.
Welcome back. Well, as we told you earlier, Husky Energy is opening up tonight about the oil spill off the coast of Newfoundland. What we know so far is that an underwater valve failed, but why that happened remains a mystery. Vice President Trevor Pritchard spoke with Here and Now's Chris O'Neill-Yates at his office in St. John's to answer some of the questions that people are asking. Here's part of that interview.
You've just come out of what has been called the biggest storm we've had since the early 80s. What thinking goes into actually starting up an operation that's as complicated in that kind of weather?
Okay, we go through our standard procedures. The weather conditions, as I say, were abating, so we were satisfied that going into those descending forecasts, that we actually use our procedures and go through our standard startup procedure.
But that didn't work out. Tell us what happened then when you tried to do that.
So, as I say, when we started hot oiling, we were 2 hours into that circuit of hot oil, and then the pressure dropped in the line, and the team offshore were troubleshooting why that pressure had dropped. Now the pump was still pumping at that time, so there's a time period where we were pumping and trying to find out what had happened to that pressure drop. The Atlantic Hawk was sent here, and the Atlantic Hawk saw that there was oil coming to the surface. At that time, that's when we deployed our tracker buoys, both on the Hawk and the Sea Rose itself. Obviously, we shut down this pump that was doing the hot oil circling, and it's been called a batch spill. It started, it stopped, and that's how the oil came to the surface.
A one-off spill?
Yep.
What do you know now about why this valve broke?
We only found this at the supper hour last night, when we had the ROV capable to get into the water and take this shot here. So I can't tell you too much as to the reason why it failed. I can tell you when we were in the flow line hot oil circling that it was operating at around 4,500 kPa, which is a pressure. The main flow line is designed for 31,000 kPa. So we're going to have to investigate as to why at such a low pressure this particular device, the connector to the flow line connector to the manifold, came apart as it did.
Now, you said the pressure was much lower than it would have been had you been in production. Do you know if this would have happened anyway, or whether it was weather related?
At this point, we're still investigating. I really want to get this piece of equipment to the surface so we can do that materials investigation.
Your company was sanctioned by the CNL-OPB over the incident. I don't have to go into it, you're well aware of it. Is this a pattern? What do you say to the public who says this is 2 incidents now in the matter of a very short period of time? We don't know the outcome of this yet, but it is 2 relatively serious incidents that have happened involving your company in the last year or so.
Yeah. So if I reflect back on the incident with the iceberg, we could have done better with that iceberg incident. We did not follow the procedures. We should have disconnected the FPSO when that iceberg was as close as that. In this case, as far as our investigation's gone so far, all of the procedures have been followed. Now that's my stamp when I came here. I said my expectations are that not on my watch will any of this happen again.
Your confidence in the oil industry takes a hit when something like this happens. How do you restore that confidence with the public?
We've just got to demonstrate over and over again that the credibility of the people that we have, the competency of the people, and the procedures. We've got the oversight by the CNOPP. We've got to generate their trust and keep their trust. Now this is going to be a dent in the relationship with the board for sure, because they take this very seriously, and we've had a number of communications already. On Friday at 3 o'clock, so the event was found at 12:30. At 3 o'clock I was at the CNOPP explaining the facts as we knew them within that 2.5-hour period, and how our emergency response was going to continue through that night.
Are there questions that still remain in your mind?
My biggest question is, why would such a device let go at such a low pressure? I need to do the mechanical investigation area in this area.
Now, while Husky tries to find answers as to what went wrong and how the company caused the largest oil spill this province has ever seen, there are questions about who calls the shots about when to pump oil and when to stop. I asked the Minister of Natural Resources, Siobhan Cody, about that issue this afternoon at the House of Assembly.
But Ms. Cody, at the end of the day, it's the oil company that decides, yes, I'm going to pump, or no, I'm not going to pump. Does that make sense when you might have an iceberg and an oil company says, let's keep pumping, or the weather gets bad? Isn't the default of an oil company going to be, let's pump?
Well, that's a very important question. The operating authority that is granted by the Canada, Newfoundland and Labrador Petroleum Board requires things like an ice management plan, and which was the infraction previously for Husky, things like a safety and environmental protection plan. There's a multitude of plans and responses.
Yeah, but in the heat of the moment, or the oil of the moment, they're going to do...
They're supposed to follow the plan.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying if the plan was followed and the protocols need to be changed, that will be something that, obviously will come out of the investigation. I can't speculate what will come out of the investigation at this point in time, but we are considering the response the CNLOPB is making as well to this. So we're looking at all those things.
After the iceberg, Husky basically said, okay, we'll make some personnel changes, get rid of this guy, get rid of that, change the team. There, we've done our thing. So is that going to be satisfactory this time around? Yeah, the guy shouldn't have been pumping. The weather was bad, but well, we'll just change him, send him to Texas.
Well, remember, they pulled their operating authority. They suspended it for a period of time. They had management, they had executive management changes. That was the response. That was the board's response to that particular infraction. And whether, what the infractions will be at this point in time, we'll have to wait the investigation. But I can tell you one thing. All eyes are on this, and all eyes are going to be on what we can do to ensure this does not happen again. I think that's the critical piece. And as you know, there have been a number of questions in the House as to, whether or not we should change and have a separate authorities for safety. You know what occurred in previous times. We're going to consider all of those things as we move forward. It is in Advance 2030, by the way, that we'll look at governance structures as well.
Moving now to this national story, the Auditor General of Canada's latest report is sharply critical of the federal government's management of a number of files, central among them uneven treatment of taxpayers by the Canada Revenue Agency, inadequate security for Canadian embassies and consulates, and no budget for high-speed rural internet. But much of the focus is on two key military matters. Julie Van Dusen joins us now from Parliament Hill. So, Julie, what does the Auditor General have to say about the government's handling of military issues?
Well, as you mentioned, Debbie, we're talking about two matters. One is Operation Honor, and that's the Defense Department's plan that came out 3 years ago to deal with sexual harassment. Now, the Auditor General says overall the plan is really having a problem dealing with complaints in a timely, consistent, and respectful manner. So this has been brought obviously to the attention of the Defense Minister, who says both he and the Chief of Defense Staff promised to do better. But Harjit Sajjan, the Defense Minister, was on the hot seat for other things, specifically the replacement of the CF-18 fighter jet, which has been around since the 80s and, Debbie, seems to plague every government. So the Auditor General lambasted the government for its current plan, which involves buying up some old Australian fighter jets as a stopgap measure till it decides what kind of new jets it wants to replace the CF-18s. And he just says, that is not a good plan. And it's compounded by the fact that there aren't enough pilots to fly the planes and not enough technicians to fix them. Now, Sajjan, the Defense Minister, says he understands that. He still wants to go ahead and purchase those old fighter jets from Australia, but he says he is moving forward to gradually replace the aging CF-18s with 88 new jets. Who knows how long that will take, but here you go. Here's this clip.
I want to be clear with Canadians. The only lasting solution for our Air Force is the purchase of new fighter jets. And at the same time, having the women and men to pilot and crew those aircraft.
So, Julie, what's the opposition saying?
Well, the opposition is saying, forget buying a bunch of old Australian fighter jets, just get on with buying the new ones, ASAP. Take a listen.
This process to replace those CF-18s should not be taking 10 years. They've been in their office there for 3 years. They have not moved on this. I say just have a look at what our allies are doing.
Quit the political games and get on with the immediate competition to select the next fighter jet for the Royal Canadian Air Force.
So, Debbie, he fails to mention that the Conservatives were in power almost 10 years and they never sorted out the replacement for the CF-18s. But as well, it should mention to the viewers that there's 7 chapters in the Auditor General's report, a lot of interesting information, including a very inconsistent way CRA treats people, whether you're an individual, a small business, a big business, or have an offshore business. So that's something that will, create some fodder for the critics in the next few weeks.
And certainly be of interest to many viewers. Thank you so much, Julie. That's
You're
our
welcome.
Julie Van Dusen joining us from our Parliamentary Bureau in Ottawa. The gang at the Perlin Centre in St. John's cheering a big win today.
Yes, certainly. They've won a grant to develop a new sensory room for guests who have autism. Stay tuned.
The funny firm that put Newfoundland's Port-au-Port Peninsula on the map. Sunday at noon and Monday at 7.
A big victory today for the Perlin Centre in St. John's. From arts and crafts, life skills to the performing arts, the centre offers daily programming for adults over the age of 18 who live with intellectual disabilities. And today, guests found out that they're getting a $10,000 grant for a brand new sensory room. That's a space designed with the needs of people who have autism in mind. Here now's Andrew Sampson dropped by for the big announcement.
I'm here today to tell you that we got the money!
It's huge, especially when you, as a programmer, like the position I hold, you come up with an idea, you bounce it back and forth off the staff, and you say, I'd love to have this thing, or I'd love to have that thing. But it always comes down to, it's budgetary. We applied through the Viva Fund for a sensory room for our Perlin Centre here on Pennywell Road. The biggest thing about it is just a concept and idea. We sat together as staff and said, we'd really like to have a place where our clients can go if they're feeling a little bit overwhelmed or having a day where they're, like to have a couple of minutes to themselves. So we came up with this idea, a sensory room, a place where, is not a place where you go in there and you're doing all types of activities. It's a place where you can go in and just get in touch with your feelings, get in touch, just be in there and relax. If you want to read a magazine, if you want to go in there and, sit down and relax, look at old pictures, it's a place where you can go in and just get in touch with yourself.
This is going to be the new home of our sensory room,
As you can see right now, we pretty much have a blank canvas here. We're going to do the footprint of it, but just to give you an idea, we're going to put some new lighting in here. We're going to change the paint colors. We're going to buy some new furniture. We're going to put in things that the clients like to do when they're in here sitting down.
We currently have programs in domestic science, which is home skills. We have programs in creative arts, which get you in touch with your art side. And we have computer studies program where allow us to come in and deal with technology. We have programs in theatre arts, which I don't know if you've heard of our Berlin players, which have been performed around the city. We have a community access program, which allows the one we're in right now, which our clients to attend this program, go out in the community on various different breaks and fairs and things. We have another program which focuses on our life skills. So we have all kinds of programs where the clients who are enrolled get to come and participate in a structured daily program. We're in the infancy stage of all this. You know, it was an idea. Now we've got a $10,000 opportunity to take this idea to a next level. So hopefully in the next few months now we'll be able to come up with some concepts on how we're going to move forward.
A lot of smiles at the Berlin Centre. Congratulations now to a serious New Brunswick crime story. The trial of a prominent man accused of murdering his millionaire father has been suspended for the day. Noting that there were some jury selection irregularities, the judge declared a mistrial in Dennis Olin's second trial for the 2011 death of his father. CBC's Kayla Hounsell explains.
Justice Terrence Morrison told the jurors their services were no longer needed as he declared a mistrial in the retrial of Dennis Olin of the Moosehead Brewery family. The judge told the jurors the Crown had discovered improprieties in the jury selection process, specifically that the police had conducted improper background checks into the jurors and that it would not be in the interest of justice for the trial to continue with this jury. The trial will now continue by judge alone. If you'll recall, Richard Olin was found dead, face down in a pool of blood in his St. John office in July 2011. His son, Dennis Olin, was convicted of second-degree murder in December 2015. But nearly a year later, the New Brunswick Court of Appeal overturned that conviction, saying the trial judge erred in his instructions to the jury. Dennis Olin's new trial was set to begin a couple of weeks ago, but at that time the judge told the court there was a legal issue that had arisen. There's been no information about exactly what that legal issue was until today when the judge declared a mistrial. Dennis Olin's new trial is now set to get underway tomorrow when he will enter another plea. He has maintained his innocence from the very beginning, and his extended family has stood by him. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, St. John.
A class action lawsuit against the RCMP has become more expensive than planned after more women have come forward, triple the number in fact. The settlement came after the historic 2016 apology delivered by the RCMP commissioner at that time. Now the force needs more money and is looking to Ottawa to help pay the bigger bill. Catherine Tunney has this exclusive report.
We hurt you. For that, I'm truly sorry.
When the RCMP first apologized to women who went through sexual harassment and abuse inside the force, they put aside $100 million as part of a settlement deal. That was 2 years ago, back when they thought about 1,000 claims would be submitted. Turns out more than 3 times that actually poured in. So RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki has written to the federal government flagging the need for more money. And we found that out in a briefing note that she sent to Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodale. So why couldn't they get the number right? Why is it off by about 3-fold? Well, it turns out in this briefing note, the RCMP points to the Me Too movement as a possible explanation, that maybe more women, as they were reading the headlines, felt more comfortable and supported enough to come forward and tell their stories. Some of them are just awful. Now, more claims means more compensation, but it's unclear exactly how much more money the RCMP is actually asking for. We went to them, we asked for a total, and they said they weren't comfortable giving that out just yet. Now, the increase is also putting a lot of pressure on the assessor's office. They're the ones that go through all the claims and decide who gets what. Every victim is eligible for a payout, and it ranges between $10,000 and $220,000. It depends on what happened to them. Now, that office has hired more help to go through all the claims that they've received, but out of the more than 3,000 claims it's received, it's only gone through about a quarter of them. Catherine Tunney, CBC News, Ottawa.
At a loss of several million hundredweight of potatoes.
What will a harsh potato harvest mean for consumers? Thick coat a couple days ago, raincoat this morning, nice and light, but a little bit wet here in the Avalon.
Speaking of equipment, what about the sunglasses? Will we need them?
Well, maybe tomorrow late afternoon before the sun goes down. We could see that peak out for parts of eastern Newfoundland and the Avalon. But if we take a look through the west coast, looks like it's going to be snow right through the day tomorrow and into the evening hours as we get into more of a northwest or a westerly flow. That onshore flurries are expected to continue right through Thursday, and some significant snowfall as well, anywhere from tonight into Thursday morning. In the afternoon, we could see between 20 to 25 centimeters of snow along parts of the west coast. And then the next system will move in on Thursday, bringing more snow, bringing those accumulations up. Temperatures are going to stay quite warm for parts of eastern Newfoundland and the Avalon, and then we've got generally fair skies up through Labrador, but still looking at that potential for a few flurries, and then we get into some colder air for the evening and into Friday. So here's a look at the forecast for Thursday. -2 for Corner Brook. Temperatures gradually warming towards the Avalon in the mid-single digits continuing on Thursday. So that will be rain for the most part. And then Labrador holding on to those cooler temperatures, -18 for Lab City again with that chance of flurries. And the winds will be strong again. So we're looking at some blowing snow continuing along the coast there. So looking ahead, the same system that's going to affect us on Thursday will continue to do so on Friday because it's slow moving, moves a little bit further north. Eventually on Saturday, that will move out. But I mentioned that colder air in behind it. So it does look like more snow is on the way through the day. On Sunday, things generally clear out. For the Avalon, we've got that Santa Claus parade. So doesn't look too bad, might see a few flurries, but overall not a bad day as far as winds go, clearing skies for Labrador as well. And behind that on Tuesday, a little bit of a warm up. We could see some more rain on the way there. So if you take a look at the 5-day forecast, it does look like the temperature drop will happen Wednesday night or tomorrow night right through to Saturday, but those winds are going to pick up for Friday and Saturday, so we could see some blowing snow Friday night into Saturday with a couple of centimeters on the way. Now through portions of central Newfoundland, that snow will continue essentially right through the end of the weekend. Some heavier snow expected on Saturday, those temperatures hovering just above or below the 0 degree mark. And then same thing for western Newfoundland, windy conditions though right through Saturday. The sun will peak out on Sunday and 4 degrees. And then up through Labrador, eastern Labrador, we'll see those windy conditions again tomorrow. Could pick up about 15 to 20 centimeters of snow, then dipping down into the minus teens. Look at that warm up as we head towards Sunday. And then in through western Labrador, windy conditions about 5 centimeters on the way tomorrow night, and then heading towards Sunday, eventually we'll see some clearing skies.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, it may soon get more expensive to supersize your fries. A harsh fall harvest means millions of dollars worth of Canadian potatoes will rot in the ground. As Cameron McIntosh explains, this adds to a bigger supply problem.
Under that snow, Chad Berry's potatoes are frozen and rotting.
Well, it's hoping, not real encouraging, but I hope better for next year.
Others are spoiling in the bin.
It's going to be garbage.
The cold, wet fall making this potato harvest one of the worst in memory.
8% of the crop was left in the field, was not harvested, and there is a fair chunk that's in the bin that probably is in rough shape, that maybe might have trouble marketing through the year.
For Manitoba, losses will total about $15 million. Not catastrophic, but compounding what could become a national potato shortage. In PEI, a similar story, where hopes for recovery from a rough season last year are, well, being mashed.
It's tough to be in a boat that's going down together, but we're in a tough boat.
PEI and Manitoba are Canada's 2 largest potato producers. While a shortage isn't being felt in grocery stores yet, potato processors are starting to look elsewhere.
Portage-la Prairie is home to 2 of Canada's largest potato processing plants, one expanding to be one of North America's largest. To keep them going, potatoes will likely need to come in from the US. Adding to all this, drought in Europe. More than 25% of potato crops were lost there, stretching global supplies. As inventories dwindle, Canadian prices could rise.
We're looking at a loss of several million hundredweight of potatoes.
Kevin McIsaac is with the United Potato Growers of Canada.
We know that our supply is less. We would say we have the same demand as last year, so we would expect to see prices increase somewhat.
For now, what's being left behind is a write-off.
We're done here now. There's no way we'll be digging anymore.
This year's frozen crop will be next year's fertilizer. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Portage-la Prairie.
Well, the sun is setting earlier and earlier as we head towards the solstice there. Any idea where this photo's from?
Well, it's good to have you back, Debbie. How about an answer?
I'm guessing the West Coast. They have snow. The
Good.
trees, well, I'm not sure.
It's actually central, but that's okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you where this photo was coming up in a little bit. that gorgeous winter shot there.
Lovely. So you said Central, right?
Yep.
No, I said Western. Oh,
And she
you
said
said
Central.
Central. You did, sorry. Ashley.
Somewhere near Buckens.
No, it's actually just outside of Grand Falls, Windsor.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's close.
Yeah, you're close-ish. Yeah, there's a winter scene in Leechbrook. Thank you.
Leechbrook.
Yeah, Dana Pittman sent us that photo. If you have any photos like this that you'd like to share
Don't
with
go
us,
swimming in that brook.
Yeah, no, maybe don't. Yeah, NL photos at cbc.ca.
What a day to be out to take that picture. Beautiful winter's day.
Good to have you back.
Very nice.
You'll be here
to
tomorrow?
here. I will definitely be here tomorrow.
See you then.
See you all then.
Good night.